Okay, I had to look at something with that example really quick and how I was going to teach it to you. So I'm just going to start this over here. Okay, so it says the sum of two consecutive odd integers is more than negative 12. What is the smallest value that will make this true? So the first thing they want us to do is write an inequality that can be used to find the smallest value that will make the statement true. Well, first, I'm going to think about this in terms of algebra. So let's say that x is some integer. So let's say that x is some integer. Now, since x is any integer, there's no guarantee that this integer is going to be even or odd. X could be 5, x could be 2, which is even, x can be 4, which is also even, and x could be 3, which is odd. So there's no guarantee. So we got to think really hard here, and we say, what can we do to x to ensure that the next number that we're talking about is an odd number? This is a bit of logic, and this is something that I had to think about, and I'm like, wait a minute. If x can be anything, how can I guarantee that x is going to be an odd number? Well, if we double x and add 1 to it, it's always going to be odd, no matter what you do. So say, for instance, you have something like 3. I'm going to write this to the side. Say you got something like 3. If you double 3, you get 6. And if you add 1 to it, you're going to get 7. Ooh, that's odd. Let's take something even, and let's say 2. Say I have 2. If I double 2, say I do 2 times 2, that's going to be 4. And if you add 1 to it, it's going to be 5. So plus 1 equals 5. So no matter what x is, if you double it and add 1 to it, it will be an odd number. So doubling looks like this in integer or in algebra. So if x is any integer, if we do double it, that'll be 2x, and add 1 to it, it's guaranteed to be odd. So that's odd integer 1. Okay? So if 2x plus 1 is odd integer number 1, what's going to be our second odd integer? And remember, odd, and it's got to be consecutive. So it's got to be, if the odd number is like 3, then the next consecutive odd integer is going to be 5. If the odd integer is like 7, the next odd integer is going to be 9. So odd integers come every other number. So if this first one is 2x plus 1, the next one, that's the next number, is going to be 2x plus 3. Because say we put a number in here like 4. 2 times 4 would be 8, plus 1 would be 9. But let's use 4 again. 2 times 4 would be 8, plus 3 will be 11. 9 and 11 are consecutive odd integers. So that's odd integer number 2. So we didn't write an inequality yet. So now let's write an inequality that's going to make this true. So we want 2 consecutive odd integers that's going to be more than 12. Here's our 2 consecutive odd integers. So we got 2x plus 1, and it says the sum, so that means we're going to add them. 2x plus 1 plus 2x plus 3 is going to be more than, so think about what symbol you want. If you want this stuff to be more, we need that, negative 12. Okay? So now let's come over here to the next page. It says, use if-then moves to solve the inequality written in part A. Identify where the zeros and ones were made using if-then moves. So we have this equation, or this expression. 2x plus 1 plus 2x plus 3 is more than negative 12. Okay, how we solve this? We need to put some like terms together. So 2x and 2x are like, and that's going to be 4x. And then we've got our plus 1 and plus 3. That's going to be plus 4. And that's greater than negative 12. Now we solve this just like a regular equation. So solve just like a regular equation. Please put that in your notes, okay? So we're going to start with our constant. Remember, it's order of operations backwards. So I'm going to take away, if this is plus 4, I'm going to take away 4 first. And if I do it to this side of the symbol, I'm going to do it to this side. Okay? This is where a 0 was made. So it says identify where the 0s and 1s were made. Plus 4 and a minus 4, that made 0. Okay? So now we've got 4x, and this is kind of going into the other problem, is greater than, what's negative 12 and negative 4? That is going to be negative 16. Okay? And so then we're going to divide each side by 4. And x has got to be greater than, what's negative 16 divided by 4? Negative 16 divided by 4 is going to be negative 4. Okay, so x has got to be greater than negative 4 in order for this to be true. So it says, what's the smallest value that will make this inequality true? And let's go back up here. And it says identify where the 1s were made. 4 divided by 4 gives us this 1x. So here 0 was made and here 1 was made. And those are just your if-then moves. So for C, what is the smallest value that will make this true? Since x has to be greater than negative 4, it's going to be the first number that is greater than negative 4. Okay, so that first number is going to be, if we think about our number line and we think about negative 4, since it cannot be negative 4, it's going to be this first integer that's to the right of negative 4, and that's going to be negative 3. Okay, and so let's test it out. We're going to put negative 3 into this expression. So let's put negative 3 in for 4x plus 4 is greater than negative 12. So let's plug it in. Let's go over here. So if I've got 4 times negative 3 plus 4, we're going to see if that's greater than negative 12. So 4 times a negative 3, it's going to be negative 12. And negative 12 plus 4, let's see if that's greater than negative 12. So negative 12 plus 4, that's equal to negative 8. And negative 8 is greater than negative 12. So that's true. So it's just asked what's the smallest value that will make this true. And it looks like it's going to be negative 3. Okay, please write down any questions that you have. In class on Wednesday, we're going to work on these exercises together and check them. And we'll work on 89 and 90. And I know this is a little difficult. That's why we're going to watch these videos and do some examples together. And please make sure that you're writing your questions down. Thank you and have a wonderful night.